Press play. Okay. Hi, Neeraj Shah here. I'm here with the amazing Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. He's considered to be the leadership coach out there. He's coaching some of the who's who out there as far as the Fortune 500 goes. The Economist considers him to be one of the go-to executive advisors, and Thinkers 50 considers him to be the number one leadership coach out there. So we're really glad that you can be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I want to just get started. What gets you up in the morning or keeps you up late at night?
Well, I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
So my mission is to help successful leaders achieve positive, lasting change in behavior for themselves or people in their teams. I get to work with great people. I do speaking and writing and coaching, which I enjoy all of the above. Speaking is fun for me, like today. Coaching is really where I learn everything. What I like about coaching, strangely enough, is not what I teach, but what I learn. I learn so much from the wonderful people I coach. And then writing is how I reach people, and making videos.
And what triggered you in this journey? What made you want to become a business coach? Was there something specific that happened?
Yeah, I met a very famous man. His name was Dr. Paul Hersey, and I was a young fellow and just had finished my PhD and was a college professor, and he became double booked. He had let me follow him around kindly to learn to do what he did, and he said, "Can you do what I do?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'll pay $1,000 for one day." I was making $15,000 for 1 year. That was 40 years ago. I was $28,000 for a day. That was a lot of money. You know what I said? Sign me up, coach. Did a program for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. It was, ridiculously successful, and they were upset when I showed up, but I did great. And said, send Marshall again. So I got into business.
Wonderful.
A lot of life is luck.
Right. So one of the things that I do is I work with small business owners. And they typically have a problem with their second line of leadership, developing the second line of leadership.
Right.
So what advice would you have for small business owners on that front?
Effective delegation is very hard for a small business owner. Let me give you a few things. One is, I've written several articles about this. One is, they tend to have an incredible drive to win. It's important that they learn what to win. Don't win every argument. Don't prove you're right all the time. Win the important elements for your business, but don't go around winning everything, because they just have a tendency to want to win everything. And don't add too much value. What does that mean? I'm young, smart, enthusiastic. I come to you with an idea. You're my boss. Rather than saying great idea, your tendency is to say, well, may have you add this to it. Well, the quality may go up 5%. My commitment goes down 50%. So it's very hard for, especially founders, not to constantly win, not to constantly add value, not to constantly be right. And one of the great leaders I met, he said, for the great individual achiever, it's all about me. For the great leader, it's all about them. Making that transition from that great individual achiever, the founder, to the great leader who really makes it about them, letting go, effective delegation, easy in theory, very difficult in practice.
And how do people transition to self-leadership in terms of initially they've got to develop themselves as a leader before they can lead others? So what are some of the things that they can do on that particular front?
Well, that's kind of what I do for a living. The steps in the process are pretty straightforward. Number one, you ask for feedback. And asking is step one. How can I be a better leader? What can I learn from everyone around me? Who are my key stakeholders? How can I learn from these people? And then after you ask, listen in a non-defensive way. I teach people to listen, don't punish the messenger. Think about what people have to say and avoid the urge to speak, especially when angry or out of control. Ask, listen, think, thank them. Thank them. And then the next thing is I teach how to respond to feedback, how to talk to people, how to recognize the value of what they've said, how to show appreciation. Don't try to change everything, and how to focus in and pick those most important areas and work on that. And then how to involve the people around you. Then after that, change, and then finally follow-up. The importance of ongoing follow-up to achieve positive, lasting change in behavior. We've got research from 86,000 people from around the world. I wrote an article called Leadership as a Contact Sport. If any of your listeners would like to get it, it's marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. It's my email, Marshall has 2 L's, and be happy to send it to them.
Great.
It works pretty much around the world.
Right. So how does coaching, learning and training come into developing a leader? how is that an important factor?
Well, again, that's kind of a broad question, but if you look at it, to me, the key to leadership development is not what you do in a class or if you have a coach, it's learning from everyone around you. So the essence of my process is coach as a facilitator, not coach as an expert. So in my role as a coach, I tell my clients I don't get paid because I'm a good coach, I get paid because you're a good customer. So I don't make it all about me. They need to learn to learn from everyone around them. They need to learn to ask for input, listen, and make it part of their life. So that's what I do.
Right.
Facilitate a process. And that's why it's culturally transportable. Because if everything they learn was from me, I would have to be an expert on their business, and I'm obviously not. I teach them to learn from everyone around them.
Wonderful. And one of the things is, in this day and age, focus seems to be really fractured. People suffer from dramatic distraction.
Right.
What advice would you have for leaders in terms of focus and how to cultivate more of it?
Well, I'll share a technique I use. I pay a woman every day to call me. She listens to me read questions I wrote and provide answers I wrote every day. Somebody said, well, why do you do that? Don't you know the theory about how to change behavior? I wrote the theory about how to change behavior. That's why I pay the woman to call me. I know how hard this is. So the homework assignment for your listeners is get out an Excel spreadsheet. On one column, you write down a series of questions that represent what's most important in your life. It could be work, home, family, health, whatever it is. 7 boxes across, one for every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every question is a yes, a no, or a number. Yes is 1, no is a 0, or a number. Fill it out every day. At the end of the week, you get a report card. I will warn your listeners in advance. It may not be as beautiful as the corporate values plaque up on the wall. Doing this for years, you do it for years, you learn life's easy to talk and hard to live.
Yeah.
What it does, though, it keeps people in focus. It keeps people in focus, so they're really working on what they want to improve. Yeah.
Wonderful. And some of the things that leaders try to always do is bring about change. So how do you bring about change? It seems to be one of the most difficult things to do. So how do you trigger that in a positive way and keep it going?
Well, I think a great case study of this is my friend Allan Mulally. He went over to Ford. The stock was at $1.01. He left, it was $18.40. Probably CEO of the year in the United States, probably the best CEO of the last, at least this century. And what did he do? He goes to Ford, gets everyone involved. He says, how are we going to treat each other? They agreed. Put it on a little card and said, this is the way we're going to act. Option A, you're going to act this way, or option B, you're going to leave. And 0 tolerance for bad behavior. One guy, and for example, no sarcastic comments, no putting people down. One guy goes to Bill Ford, the chairman, says, Bill, this is childish Boy Scout nonsense. If I want to make sarcastic comments, I will. Who is this guy? Bill said, go talk to Allan. Allan said, I made a choice, you made a choice. Goodbye. One more guy took him on. I made a choice, you made a choice. Goodbye. That was it.
Right.
14 of the 16 people that led the company to bankruptcy were the same people who turned the company around. What changed? He changed. You say, well, you can't change a huge culture like Ford in a short period of time. He did. Every team meeting, everybody behaved exactly the way it was on that card. There was no using the cell phone. There's no side conversations. There's no sarcastic comments. There's no putting people down. And he brought in observers to watch every team meeting.
Every single meeting?
Every single meeting. They had observers watching. You know what he said? We're not going to talk. We're going to live. They're going to learn through watching us. We're going to be good role models.
Wow.
Funny how that worked. I've never seen anybody do it like he did, but he turned that company around, just boom.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can do it. It takes courage. And you've got to stand up to people and you've got to say, this is it. And, these were not complex things. If you read my books, like What Got You Here Won't Get You There, I was Allan's coach. It was nothing that wasn't in my book. The difference is he did it. Not he talked it, he lived it. And it was clear that's what we're going to do.
And I think that's something which is very different in the leaders that really go and make that happen. They have that courage and they have that tenacity to follow through.
That's right. Another great leader, I worked with Fred Hassan, probably the #1 leader in the pharmaceutical industry in this decade. And Fred, same thing as Allan, has a playbook. This is the way we're going to do things. This is the way we're going to act. And, start with your attitude, you go to your behavior and create your culture, ABC. And he said, we're going to have a positive attitude, we're going to have great behavior, and we're going to create a positive culture. And by the way, option B,
you can leave.
You can leave now. And he doesn't make judgments.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't want to be here, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't want to fit in the culture, it's okay. But if you tolerate people whose behavior is inconsistent with the culture, you have no culture.
And talking about a positive attitude, you are someone who, whenever I've seen you speak, you just have that enthusiasm and positivity. How do you cultivate that on a daily basis?
I do a chant before I work. Did I show you this before?
No.
Chant.
Yeah.
I do a chant before I work, and it gives me so much energy. I'm a Buddhist. Would you like to learn to chant?
Yes.
Chant goes like this. You breathe, center yourself, breathing. Do your hands like this. The chant goes like this. There's no business like show business like no business. Every day before I go to work, you know what I tell myself?
Yeah.
It's showtime.
It's showtime.
I have a house on condominium on 42nd Street, right? It's the avenue I'm taking you to, 42nd Street. So, it's showtime. And when I coach people, I use that as an example. Like I say, I'm coaching a CEO, they get whiny, poor me, poor me. I say, have you ever been to a Broadway play? I say, of course. Did you ever hear that kid get out there and say, my foot hurts? My aunt died last week. I have a headache.
Yeah.
It's showtime. And I say, that kid is making about 1/1000th what you're making. If they can do it, so can you. Suck it up.
Wonderful.
I'm sitting on the airplane, right? Some young kid sitting next to you, like 31, right? And he's whining, oh, poor me, poor me. He said, I have 150,000 frequent flyer miles. I pulled out my card, it says 11 million miles. I showed it to him and I said, shut up. Shut up. I don't need to hear you whining. I got 11 million miles and I'm more than twice your age, so just shut up here. Right? Poor kid's going, oh, I'm sorry.
But what happens when you have a lot of people out there? It's endemic in the culture to go around complaining. How do you just...
Doesn't have to be endemic.
Yeah. True.
It's endemic because you let it be endemic. Cut it out. Yeah, whine, poor me, I'm the victim. Hey, did you ever read the Gita? What's the Gita say? It is what it is.
True.
A situation is described as awful. You get two choices, bad and terrible. So what's the message? Suck it up. It is what it is. Do your best. Make peace with what you can't change. Don't whine. I read the Gita, I didn't hear why don't you whine some more? Why don't you complain a little bit? I didn't read that, right?
No, I missed that.
I missed that part. I didn't say whine and complain. I said make the best of it. It's life. Yeah.
So, there's dramatic disruption going on right now. There have been major changes. Trump has come in. There's been demonetization here in India. Brexit's happened in the UK. It seems to be there all the time. How does a leader navigate all these things that are going on?
There's always change.
Yeah.
There's change now, there's always change. There was a Vietnam War, there's a lot of change. There's always change. Look at the history of India. How many changes you had in India? People get killed, you have riots, you have wars, things happen. It's life. Make the best of it.
Yes.
It is what it is. Change what you can change, make peace with what you can't change, and the macro level things you're probably not going to control anyway, so you just figure out, okay, how can I live my day-to-day life in the best way I can, and do that. You're small business owners, you're not going to change the Indian government or Modi or any of that other stuff, so don't waste a lot of time.
Yes.
Put your focus on where you can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. Finally, feed forward. I've tried that exercise a number of times when I've been in your classes and even with my team. How did that come about?
Well, it's a Buddhist exercise. So I'm a Buddhist, and Buddha said, only do what I teach what works for you. Doesn't work for you, it's okay, just don't do it. Well, that's the essence of Feed Forward. So in Feed Forward, I teach people, you ask for input, you listen. You treat it as a gift. Now, if you give me a gift, I shouldn't say stinky gift, bad gift, I don't like your stupid gift. Say, thank you for the gift. And then you don't promise to do everything. You just promise to listen and do what you can, which is all you're going to do anyway.
Yes.
And you don't argue. It's such a positive concept.
Yes.
It's very, very positive. It's kind of the central core of my coaching is Feed Forward. Well, you can't change the past anyway. So rather than relive a humiliating past, you try to create a positive future. It's much more positive. You can cover 80% of what's covered in feedback anyway, just you do it in a much more positive and productive way.
Yes.
People like it. It's kind of the essence of my coaching. And as I said, it's once you get out of that, we have to argue and debate and judge and critique. People waste so much time on that. I do an exercise in my class to say, what % of all interpersonal communication time is spent on A, people talking about how smart, special, or wonderful they are, or listening to someone do that, plus B, people talking about how stupid, inept, or bad somebody else is, or listening to people do that. The average answer in the world is 65%. We waste so much time and energy on that stuff. Just cut that out. Cut that out. Just with my coaching, the cost to my clients hiring me is their time. Whatever they pay me is incidental compared to the value of their time. I don't waste time. When I coach them, everything is either required, which is basically if they don't want to do it, I just say, fine, don't work with me. I don't have to do this.
Right. Yes.
Or after that, it's all Feed Forward. I give them ideas, and if they want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't waste my time and yours critiquing my ideas. You either don't want to do it, fine. Do want to do it, fine. Just move on with life. It's much more positive.
Yes, definitely. It's had a huge impact on my life, and I'd like to thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much.
Where do you see leadership heading? What are your plans for India? What would you like to do here? You're a frequent traveler to India.
I am. I've been here many times. Many times. If you look at my book, Triggers, it's sort of a combination of Buddhist and Hindu philosophy, which all came from India. So, most of the stuff I teach is basically leftover Indian culture. Good news is nobody in India knows anything about Indian culture, so easy audience to work with. Make all these references to Gita, they give me a blank look like, what's that? So anyway, I love working in India. It's my favorite place to work. Why? Because the people here want to learn.
Yes.
They very much want to learn, very interactive, involved people. They're very respectful for teachers. So I find it's a wonderful place for me to work. So, I would like that. I like working here. In fact, my Thinkers 50, I mentioned I'm adopting people, right?
Yes.
I had about 2,500 applications just from India.
Wow.
If I put, an ad in the Times of India saying, I'm going to give away all I know, it's all free, all you have to do is give it back when you get old, I think half of India would have applied. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have plenty of Indian applicants here.
Wow.
And my books are very popular in India.
Yes.
I think I've sold 150,000 books in India legally, which is mind-boggling.
It might be 10 times more.
It's usually 8 to 10. That's what people get. I don't care, but it is funny.
Right. And how would you like to be remembered?
It's very interesting. For me, if anybody looked back and said my life's a little bit better off because I met that guy, it's good enough. So I've grown older. I'm not going to cure cancer. I'm not going to save the world for democracy. Probably not going to change Donald Trump a whole lot. I don't think Brexit, I'm going to do much about that, and Modi and that money thing. I may not be the key factor involved in that either. So I kind of narrowed it down to why don't I just help real people have a little bit better life? That's kind of good enough. So I see somebody and they say, hey, my life's a little bit better off because of something you said or wrote or did, a little better. I'm declaring victory here. That's enough. That's good.
Superb.
Enough.
So if you want to get in touch with Dr. Marshall Goldsmith or learn more about what he's doing here in India, then the right people to work with is Right Selection. Please contact me, or there's a link below in this particular video. have a look at that. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.